So I'm sitting here thinking, and what I realize, this interaction in business between PBC and HBO, whereas you have Bob Arum wanting Jesse Vargas to fight Danny Garcia, and you got Dominic Wade fighting Triple G, and you got Provatnikov going to Showtime. You know what I just realized? The reason why Bob Arum wants to work with PBC and Al Heyman because there's no money on HBO's side. They're not willing to put up the money for the Terrence Crawford Victor Postol fight. That's the bottom line. They say if you find the money, you find the reason. And the reality is, Bob Arum don't have the funds to put these fights on with HBO. And and you asked me how did I come to this conclusion. I just was sitting in solace, and I was just sitting there just watching the current wave of boxing. And the reality is, HBO, Tom Loeffler, and Bob Arum needs PBC because PBC pays their fighters. You have yet to meet their prime fighters making millions of dollars. Uh, I would say Keith Thurman has yet to reach his prime. I would say Sean Porter is who he is. Danny Garcia probably has yet to reach his prime. Well, maybe. I'm not sure. But the point I'm making is uh, Carl Frampton making $1 million. Um, Scott Quigg making over $1 million for that fight. PBC is paying their fighters. Now, the catch is if you want to fight a Terrence Crawford, if you want to fight an Ortiz, I don't think Ortiz is making $1 million a fight yet. Um, you have to take a pay cut to fight on HBO. They don't have the money for it. So you're gonna start hearing Bob Arum uh, talk more about wanting to join forces and make fights happen. He just simply don't have the money, and that's the bottom line. HBO is not putting up money for these fights. They don't have the budget for it, and I don't believe HBO will dissolve boxing. But at the end of the day, it has to be a marquee fight, and this Bradley Pacquiao fight is quote unquote a marquee fight. But I don't know what the numbers are going to be. I'll be covering the fight. I'll leave either. Um, I'm not sure when I'm leaving, but um, that fight, I don't know what those numbers are going to do. And I'm fearful because I love the fact um, I like it either when HBO has a fight one weekend, Showtime has a fight one weekend, or when they have it on they have two fights in the same day, and I can go to a fight and then come home and cut my TiVo on and watch the other fight. So um, HBO was in trouble. It's I wouldn't say peril, but they're in trouble. They need uh, Bob Arum and PBC's arm to reach across the table and help them out. Excuse me. And we gonna see. So with all this being said, will we may see Lomachenko take a pay cut to fight the Santa Cruz is the winner of the Santa Cruz Carl Frampton fight, and so on and so forth. So that's why he's calling out Adrian Broner's name. Don't you know how painful it is for Bob Arum to say the name Adrian Broner? If he doesn't like Floyd Mayweather, why the hell would he like Adrian Broner? You get what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting. 2017 is going to be interesting once people realize that HBO is not putting on these fights and the subscriptions drop, and Bob Arum don't have the budgets to put these fighters on. Now, if you think cognitively, the next two fights, the next three fights, I would say Bob Arum wants to put on, that's come out of his mouth, is Terrence Crawford, Adrian Broner. Terrence Crawford, Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia, Jesse Vargas, and Lomachenko and Walters. HBO is not willing to pay Lomachenko $1 million. He's a top 5 fighter in the world, and they're not willing to pay him $1 million. So look out. don't be afraid to accept the details as to what's going on in boxing today. So um, feel free to let me know what you guys think, but this is just what I believe. Do I have inside information? Not necessarily. I've yet to speak to anyone about this. This is just me sitting, just listening to all the YouTube channels and reading articles and just seeing the current wave. Because I remember when Dante's Boxing Nation, I said this before, when he interviewed Bob Arum. And you guys asked Dante to show you guys that clip of when Bob Arum said, "I will never ever work with Al Haymon, ever, ever." And now he's extending the olive branch because he needs him. I don't care what none of you racist boxers fans say that say black people are monkeys, nigga this, nigga that. At the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about money. You know, it's about whether you're elite or not elite. You know, and they play boxing fans as puppets. They make you nationalist fans so you can support your fighters. So they want Mexicans to say niggers. They want blacks to say what's the term for uh, if you don't like Latinos, beaners, I think, or something like that, or I don't know the terms for Russians, and but they want you to bring your flags to these fights and be nationalists. And if you're black, they want you to support your black fighters. If you're American, they want you to support your American fighters. If you're Mexican, they want you to support your American fighters. If you're Italian, they want you to support your Italian fighters. And that's just the reality of it. So it's amazing how boxing fans are puppets when it comes to that. And I accept that you're most comfortable with fighters that look like you and more importantly act like you. I get that. But at the end of the day, when you become an overt disrespectful boxing fan, the sport of boxing has simply played you. And like Bob Arum has tried to play upon the boxing public for such a long time now, and now he has to come to the middle, which is awesome. Now that Bob Arum's coming to the middle, we'll get to see Timothy Bradley and Sean. Who doesn't want to see Timothy Bradley, Sean Porter, stand in the middle of the freaking ring and brawl it out? I I would think that their backs of the rope will touch less than 20 times total in that fight because that's just what they do. You know, it's gonna be one of them type of fights. Who doesn't want to see that fight? Who doesn't want to see Danny Garcia, Timothy Bradley? The list goes on and on. Who doesn't want to see Terrence Crawford, Adrian Brown? That has so much seasoning in that fight, if you get what I'm saying. So, barbershop conversations. Let me know what you guys think. Bob Arum needs Al Haymon, and Al Haymon needs Bob Arum to completely take over boxing. If his fighters destroys Bob Arum fighters, take their belts, and in turns outpay them, Provodnikov jump ship. Now he's on Showtime. So be careful. Terrence Crawford might be next. I'm just throwing out some tea leaves. Barbershop conversations. I'll talk to you soon. Peace, guys.